conversation. It's becoming alarming. They say it's Olele. Then they say they are those ones who rob in traffic. What has always alarmed me about those who rob in traffic? Let me share something with you back in. On Saturday night when we left Kemi's wedding.
Oh, okay.
I went to the airport to pick someone, dropped the person in the hotel, and then I left for home. See about 11 o'clock. Now the thing is, I knew it was 11, so I felt like, okay, let me take the expressway. If I'm leaving the airport, I came straight to Maryland. So at Maryland, this guy started fighting at the junction, just in front of that Catholic school. They started fighting. But the smart thing was, somebody in front of us, maybe 2 cars in front of me, dropped from the car to go. We left him on his own. While he was dropping, we were maneuvering through the back of them, and we left. When we got to Ojota, as I was approaching Ojota on the service lane, I saw people were taking the service lane. But I felt like, am I going to do? I'm already here. Rather than swerving all the way, let me just keep going. Since my front is free, only for me to get to Ojota bus stop. So right in front of me, we were stopped. And then we were surrounded by trailers. You know the bad part was, I looked around, no single security officer was there. So I was wondering what stopped us, because the service lane kept moving gradually. And then at that time of the night, why would there still be traffic at K2 that would now spill to Ojota, and then those of us who want to go up the bridge to Bega can't go? I waited a while. I just made sure I kept a long distance between the truck in front of me and myself. And then there was a car. I could sense there was a car in front of the truck. Lined up, and I kept watching. You know what I was watching for? This place. After about 5 minutes, somebody just came to my window. The person saw that I was always keeping a distance, you know. So the person came. This was not the window. If you see the window,
I can just imagine.
I was like, then I turned, and the guy was like, what's I'm like, I checked, did I ping? I looked up, I don't keep my phones beside me, so I looked around, and I looked over, I just ran forward, stayed by the side of the truck. The guy now looked at me, I turned back, I saw that there was a downfall bus beside me, and all of them kept dropping. You know, people, unscrupulous looking elements kept dropping from inside the downfall bus, crossing, some were walking, some were going forward. Until I left Ojota, my heart was pounding. And when we finally got there, we saw that it was even thugs that stopped us in the first place. They will stop for a while, then they will now allow you to pass. There was practically no reason why they were stopping us. Till I got to CMD Road and then started going towards it, I could not stop breathing hard.
It's terrible. You know, the aftermath effect of the NSAS issue of looting of arms and ammunition from police station, the result is what we're getting. And before the NSAS itself, we've said it, because the economy is terribly bad, the rate of unemployment, the agile people, you know, so people will always tell you that an idle mind is devil's workshop.
Yeah.
You may not have the practicality of it until you see something like this. Some of the people you call hoodlums too have gone to school. Some of them just want to, they are frustrated, and you know, you just see yourself moving and somebody will invite you, what are you doing? You know, come. First day, second day, you get involved, and because you've gone to school, you are bound to have more skill in doing that thing more than them. I've had experiences of hoodlums speaking good English when they attack you, and you ask yourself, question: this is not just an ordinary guy. This guy, if at all,
has gone to school.
Yeah, if at all, this guy does not have any qualification.
He has a school sense.
So it's the fallout from the bad economy we've experienced that have metamorphosed into great level of insecurity. And I will tell everybody, these days, I don't think I move out beyond 6 o'clock.
In the morning?
In the morning is the normal. I don't leave my house until 8.
But at times, you know, this is Lagos. At times you find yourself, you are hooked up. Tomisin, was it, when was it? Sometimes last week, I told you I was seeing somebody at Lasso. And the plan was to leave here, probably, I left around, I think 4:35 about. Lasso is just here. And I was hooked up there up until something around 7:30 to 8 thereabout.
Do you know part of it? Just last week I was coming from the hospital and I came out from Aromere. I wanted to locate, you know. I was to go via our lane to my place, you know, along Magodo side. But the whole area was blocked. So I said, okay, let me use Aromere and come in through Cadbury and some other area.
How did it be?
I was stopped for like 3 hours on the traffic. You know what I did? The next available guest house was just where I saw food. And I had to pass night there because it was becoming dangerous for people to move that late. So security as we speak is in the law enforcement agency.
You didn't have money.
Yeah. If you must go out now, you must have little change in your
But if you do not have, what happens?
If you do not have, then you minimize the level at which you go out late.
At night.
That's the truth. Your life is more precious.
You see, most of the times, most of us, like someone like me, I'm telling you, I am these days I'm so scared, you know, while driving, while moving and all that. So I try as much as I can not to stay out late. But you know, more often than not, you still find yourself, you know, out there late. Probably
let's adopt the new normal. Most of the things we got to do physically, let's close them up
and do them
online. I'm telling you, our life is more precious. Whatever excuse we want to make for ourselves is when we are alive, we can even, you know, seal up some of those deals. That's what I tell in the videos now. Whatever you feel we need to do, let's have a Zoom meeting, let's have a phone call, let's do WhatsApp conference call. Let's do whatever we need to do. Just let me be at this point. Once it's late, yes, you want to win the country, you want to see the person, you want to do anything. If you are not there tomorrow, take for example, if you are attacked on your way home, and God forbid, that you are so devastated that you cannot even get yourself. And there's another part of the fallout of the meeting is that you should see the person 9 a.m. the next morning. I'm sure because of your condition, you won't be able to make that appointment.
Definitely. Let's go to the headlines, stories this morning. The army, seem to be the new center for discovery of COVID-19 cases. 8 more army generals test positive. Yesterday we had 20. 1 died last week. The Chief of Army Staff and the Minister of Defense are in isolation as we speak. They've tested about 517 people who all were at that conference. Which tells us one thing. Are we taking precautionary measures enough? Now that we know the PTF has won again and again, second wave of COVID-19 is here.
You see, since the ease of the lockdown, a few months, like 3 months ago, people no longer comply. Let me say, people no longer comply. And not just the populace again, it's even with the government officials. I have this to challenge them on. You only see them complying when they want to go on air, have media chat and all those things. What do they do internally? Considering the fact that majority of them do have international engagement, I know what is obtainable outside the country. You know, you can travel in the morning and come back the next day for a meeting.
Very true. And you can import COVID where you're coming.
Where did we get it in February? It was imported. And everything about this country is importation. We import toothpick, we import food, we import. So we went ahead and imported COVID.
We imported COVID.
All of the bit to just import things. You know, we just love imported.
We love importation. So
oh my God.
They should not import another thing. No.
So
let's warn them now.
So the fact is, because the airspace is open, people are traveling. And what we see in the other part of the world, in Europe, is that it keeps increasing on a daily basis. France has gone on complete lockdown. US, even though the current president is fighting out that they won't go lockdown, keep increasing every day. The death rate, the UK are in it. And this is, Nigeria is well traveled. Every day you go to there, people wants to, get out there.
People are coming.
So they go out, come, and this December is always the time people come into the country at least to see their loved ones. So whether you want to pin it down or not, some people will still come in.
Very true.
And it's so paramount in those developed world, more than here. So you discover that as they are coming in,
It's spreading.
and that our culture now, it's been a while I've seen my sister, it's been a while I've seen my uncle.
I have to walk them.
I trust Tomisin, I trust Yinkate. So, and you don't know the state of it. And even uncle may not be so conscious to say, please, let's at the show of love. And that's why we keep seeing
Overwhelms us.
the increase rate. If we are having this in the military, that we believe they are within the country, how much more people that are coming in on daily basis? There have been an international engagement, and I was on a forum yesterday.
Even our governor too.
2 governors are already in isolation. Our governor in Lagos, Katsina, I think is in isolation.
Back again.
That's
irrelevant.
Yeah.
Back again.
Yeah. So
He has been treated for it. He's back again.
But this thing, the immunity level of some of them is not that.
Very true.
Because they stress themselves.
In isolation.
Boss, the level at which these guys are overtasked with the administration of state, it tells on their head. But we might just be looking at them and saying, what are they doing?
No, they're doing a lot.
They're a lot. If you
I
imagine
know for sure that Dr. Sanwo-Olu wasn't sleeping up to 4 hours a day.
Of course. Because as you are saying,
right before he even broke down.
So you expect such thing. It's the normal human body. So
but do you think, let me bring you down here now. Yes, we understand that the people up there, probably they travel for their meetings and all whatnot, and they come into the country with things like this, and the way this thing spread. Of course, when my boss, that is probably one dignitary, I am the cleaner, in the house, it gives to me as a cleaner. I go back down the people that are down the cadre, and I begin to spread it. Now, considering the fact that naturally Nigerians we live a communal life, and the way our environment, our community is structured, do you think that we can absolutely guide against, obey, even down here? Do you think we can, is it possible, is there a possibility that we can guard against COVID-19 and obey the rules of COVID-19?
We can guide against it. Let me say the general one that everybody
Considering
does.
the fact that I have to go into a commercial vehicle, I have to,
Can we adhere strictly?
I have to be at the bus stop.
Can we adhere strictly to the use of nose mask? One, that one is proving that at least you won't spread things because you can't predict when you will sneeze. You can't predict when you will cough, even when you're talking. And can we, even if we can't maintain that distance in the bus, considering the fact that they must take their 18 passengers,
we have limited buses.
You don't understand. The fact is, can we adhere to the use of nose mask? That's one. I've said it. There are things. The government is saying we need vaccine, we want this. Can we look for something, domestically that we can, put together? People will always say, some of the things you're saying is not scientifically proven. I was somewhere yesterday and I was sharing with them. There are times you take these drugs, scientific drugs that is tested, and you overreact to it. And people will tell you, calm down. Can you put together this and this? Go get some herbs, put it, and ask you to cook. And that's why I said, can we give opportunity to our tribal medical people? There are things, there are ailments that some of the drugs does not even have answer to. But this tribal medical, they'll sort it out. Fine, you might say, some of those things are not in the right quantity. Can we sit down and say, okay, if you put this plus this, I know during COVID people were saying put ginger plus garlic plus this. There was a time there was scarcity of some of those things in the market. But you know,
and they're so expensive, especially garlic.
You understand? Can we look at how I sat down and I said, the guy that brought in the vaccine sat down and put things together, and we all said it's working. Why can't we have a listening ear to our people here? The people out there are white guys, we are black. The way things work for them, I've asked it, this vaccine will come tomorrow, even after it's been tested, and start skyrocketing things, even in our body, because the way we react to that. Some white guys will take for example, some of this quinine of a thing, they won't react to it. You see an average guy.
The person I brought him, that I picked from the airport, that night he had food in his hotel, which was just fried rice.
Now let me ask you, did you use your nose mask?
All through
you were with that person?
The person was even on face mask.
Did you maintain distance?
No, I didn't maintain distance, but we use face mask. He even chartered face mask. You know, their own face mask in the UK has all those, in the hospital. So they have all those NHS stuff. So the moment he landed, it was all kitted up, all, you know. But by the time he got to his hotel, he said he's hungry. Two eat you. He said he eat. Okay, head fried rice. I said don't eat meat, don't eat goat meat. Take fish. He took fish and he slept. Between that night and the next day, he had stooled close to 10 times.
Meanwhile, if you take that fried rice and fish,
I'm sure Tomisin you took.
I did. I also stooled
twice. Twice, but
mine twice. This was close to 10 times. And the next day. So I know the moment I started running, I knew that it was going to run.
We had the same challenge.
And I said, simple, take flagyl. Oh my God, that one complicated matters.
Meanwhile, you will take that same drug
and it will work. So just like you were saying, they will take something that works for us and it won't work for them. So this
that's
vaccine we're talking about.
That's like our immunity has really helped us with COVID-19. Like a doctor friend actually said to me some time ago, early in the year, I think that was around April. He said to me, look, Yinka, let me tell you one-on-one, if you pick 10 Nigerians, 9 people they've got COVID-19 is walking on the street. It's just that a lot of Nigerians are fortunate to have, very good immune system, and they are not, actually down. And then, of course, Nigerians being who we are, once you are not down, you're still on the move.
Once you have not broken down.
Exactly.
Until when you are, one thing we want the government to do, which me have actually been advocating for, is let them look for way. We understand the code. Science, it must be proven, it must be tested. Can we look at some of these things, put it together? Let's domesticate everything about us and stop this importation in every facet, economic wise, health wise. Let's look at, you see, an average Nigerian will make things happen here and will just look down on him, and he will travel out there, put the same resources together, and he will now push that to us, and we'll start celebrating it. So the fact is, can we look inward? The way and manner, see, here I'm not, the tradomedical have not actually engaged me, but one thing I know is, at times when you take some of these drugs, we started from those days where is it Piriton, now you have different version of that anti-malaria. They'll tell you this particular one is this is stronger than this is stronger. But you know when you take herbs, there is nothing like anything, just because there's a way, and the annoying things
and you're good.
The annoying
no, but I think Shetan, let me cut you in there, because we need to pass on the right information to people. But I strongly think that most often than not, these herbs are being abused. They are taken.
Very true.
We know that.
Let me exactly, because let me give you an instance of someone that has probably some underlying health issues, and most of the times these herbs are really acidic. And probably someone that has a liver issue or that has had an experience of a liver issue cannot just go out there and take herbs, because it feels that herbs works, better than, So
It
what I
actually
strongly
damage
feel
more.
is that the regulatory bodies
Yes.
should come in and, support, assist them and, do
That's
something.
the area where you see some of the herbs that we're talking about are being taken to other countries, processed into capsule, and they bring it back to us
And we buy.
at a very exorbitant price. I've seen instances where you say
You're
these
right.
herbs, we actually picked it from the African continent and we are growing it there and they'll package it. And that's what I'm saying. Fine, we understand the acidity of some of these drugs. Can the regulators come in and see how we can have some of these things processed for us to consume and regulate the consumption rate? We must look into now. That's what I feel we need to do, rather than importing everything that is importable before we go ahead and finish ourselves. We must just look at it very well.
One more story we'd like you to look at, Sheson, just before we call it a wrap on this segment. The military is coming up with different versions of what happened to the children who were abducted in Kenkara village. The military saying the abductors cutting away
Motorcycles.
with these children on motorcycles. Kidnappers are demanding ransom and end to aerial surveillance.
The residents were their own account is that they were taken to
A nearby
Nearby
village.
village.
nearby village.
Now, the Sultan of Sokoto is even saying he's shocked that it even happened at all. People are questioning President Muhammadu Buhari for not visiting this village or this school, despite the fact that it was in Katsina. There are so many signs. But this is the third time that these insurgents will target a school. We had Chibok girls, we had Dapchi girls, and now we have Kankara.
You see, this issue of adoption is quite disheartening. What is happening?
And these are boys. More so is scary.
Yeah, that's the area, because it's like a recruitment area for me.
Because they didn't go for the girls this time.
Yeah, they
went for the boys.
they need more,
Which means they need more manpower.
more manpower. And you know the way some of those things goes on in the north, is just passing out an ideology to them. These are not young people. But what
Working
is
on their
shocking,
psyche.
what is shocking is moving over 300 people on bike. How many bikes did they bring?
Did they bring?
That's-
How were they moving
because-
with bikes in the middle of the night, and the entire security apparatus of that state
We're
were
not just there. It's at times
So
I've been
apparently
trying to ask.
it must have taken a while.
Of course, at least to move 300. Let's say
333
you have-
people.
because that's the
You know,
official
some were
statement.
running out of the bushes.
Yeah, some took
Refuge in the bushes
in
at
the
all.
bush.
They
So-
don't even know how many they actually took.
They don't. But let's stick even with the official report of 333.
Is what they are looking for.
So how many bikes
Would they have
you
used?
have used, and at
Let's
what
assume 3
time?
per bike.
If you take 3 per bike, you're talking of over 100. Let's say 100. I ask myself this
The
question.
rider and 2 boys.
It's I don't really know. But
How
you
can
know,
100 bikes pass through
a
village
particular
to
area?
village to
Because
village? No
even-
helicopter chase, no military. I'm just wondering. There's so many
and
questions.
we've said times to that number. We have the helicopter that can rove around the northern region.
After
to
all,
have
they are
understand-
demanding area surveillance.
That means
Must stop.
That means somebody somewhere is actually monitoring the government. How can they be telling us what to do? We are still talking. They are demanding for ransom. How can
And
we
they're
get-
not telling us not to survey.
the other
Yes,
area
yeah, exactly.
that the military, I think it is
Obviously, they are calling the shots.
the area I fault the military or the government. Don't let me say military, but the military are not part of that. Is government giving this, and the governor started it. This repentance thing. I think I was here sometimes ago to say, how can you be?
And we discussed that.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
we said, how can you be giving people that have killed, that have armed people, and you're saying they are repentant? Repentant what? Because most of the time people don't always want to hear. They'll say it's a human right, whatever. These people should be, let me use the right word, killed. they've killed people, let's kill them. By the time you kill 1 or 2 or 3, you set the signal. But the situation where you put them together and said,
but that was exactly what happened. They said the government killed some of them, and so they went to Borno and killed 43 farmers.
So if see, we must go at
the villages. The villages have been given information.
So when you eat at them, go and reinforce and prepare, because they will eat back. There was a side of this story that said it's a reprisal stuff.
Yes.
That the vigilante group in that area, after an attack, attacked on them and killed them.
Yes.
And now they came back in the 4-4. What I expect the military to have done is, okay, this vigilante has gone out to eat on this guy. We should expect that they will eat back. What are the measures that we are putting in that area? And we have said it that our intelligence gathering is quite low. Such thing we should have reacted and said, okay, since these people have gone out to eat, even though they did not take permission, they did not notify us, they must have reacted based on what they've seen. Let's go ahead and see how we have a coverage of that area, even if it will not be physically, but let's have a roving eye all over that area to make sure that if there's anything happening,
the moment they were even kidnapped, the moment that happened on Friday night.
You understand? So
there should have been a helicopter checking that entire area.
Helicopter go. Even when my president was in the state, and to me personally is disappointing. Somebody took me up this morning and said the presidency will react. I said, if I hear any of the statesmen speak on this, it will show how insensitive our president is. If it indeed is a father, I look at the tribal women go through to have a child.
One.
Just one.
And 333 are missing.
Just one. There are issues that...
And among these children, a woman could have about 3 of our children, you know.
A father, a father in there will speak. This is not the time somebody prepares speech for you to do.
Exactly.
There should be this human feeling. For somebody to, I saw the video going viral, that I didn't even want to believe. But at this point, I expect, and even if any of the
Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
let's even give time that they are preparing the president to talk. But at this time, it's not the time for the presidency to talk. We did not engage the presidency. We engaged the president. We voted for the president, and these are things that require the speech directly. We don't need a press release. We don't need a press release. Even as is in Daura, is a coverage that my people, this has happened. Unfortunately, I am here. Even if it's not going to visit.
It's an insult.
You understand? And now the aides will come with that garbage or Femi Adesina. They will come and say the president is on top of the issue. We need the president. Otherwise, we will be saying that our father does not care for us, the children. That's the truth. Because I don't see a situation where something will happen in the house, and the mother is wrong, and the father is just. You see that the father is has gone, not caring about what it is. He must speak. There's this reassurance when a father speaks in the house. Your mom can be harassing you, ladies, and the father say, children, there must be that calmness. Whether your father will tell you lies or will tell you the truth. That he says, children, I want you to give me a listening ear. I know I've not been there for you for a while, because of my work and everything. But on this matter that your mother is saying, this is what we are doing. That reassurance will come. Even for me, let's forget it's taking days. The issue is the president must, on this particular one,
but
to give that reassurance that all is well.
If you ask me, I want much more than talk. We've had a lot of press releases. We've had a lot of people coming to say things that will even aggravate the anger of an average Nigerian. For me, I think it's time we begin to the presidency begin. You see, if the presidency acts and it does less talk, probably Nigerians won't be, saying, president is not talking.
No. But
if there are areas that you must talk. It's key.
is important.
It's key.
How do you act and then people do not? They don't know what
When
you're
you
doing.
act and you don't communicate,
We are
you
not
don't
even
even
seeing,
know.
we are not even seeing,
So,
we are not seeing,
that's why
the
talking is
acting, we
important.
are not seeing it, we are not hearing the talking.
That's why talking is important.
Something
How
should
did, how
be
did we
done.
know that the president is actually in the
Dara.
if not communication?
Exactly.
Because in the middle space that is there. So he must speak. This has happened. While he's in Dara there, we should put something together and say, my people, this has happened. And you know the way, maybe the Yoruba culture, when something happened to a person, you have to come and be, commiserate with in your house. No, they will tell you that even when you go and visit the person, they will say you cannot escort the person out. But now the governor is actually in a dilemma. He's the one visiting the president to give a brief. Fine, we understand, to give him. But there and there, after the visit, I expect, if the presidents are telling us that the governor has visited the president to give him briefing about it, I expect a spontaneous response from the president himself, not the president. At this point in time, Garba Shehu was appointed, Femi Adesina was appointed, Lai Mohammed was appointed. The person we voted for and were regarded as our father, the father of the nation, is the president. And at critical time, we expect the father to speak, to dance down the pressure on every citizen. At this point, we expect him to please speak. Even if it's to tell us that, my children, my people, we are on top of the game. We know the president has spoken. And when the president speaks, when the father speaks in the house, everybody, things take shape.
True.
Things take shape.
And sometimes things even respond to the fact that the president has spoken.
Of course. But
this village, the city or town, Kankara, is just right there next to Zamfara State.
Yeah.
So when they say they were able to go through, if you look at the pictures, or at least the map, it tells us that it's easy to actually pass through Zamfara. I thought Zamfara was being heavily watched by the army.
Well, it's what they tell us that we will see. The military will come
After
every
all,
day to tell us that they are on top of it and they are napping them. We'll read on the face of the newspaper.
Is Zamfara not next to Sokoto?
It's very close to you. In fact, I have someone in that area that said, bros, the level of insecurity in this area.
Because you know what I'm saying? Sokoto, Zamfara, they have Katsina. And then the Sultan of Sokoto has said, preparing us just about 3 weeks ago, prepare your ransom at home. Don't wait for them to come. People prepare their ransom before the guys even come at all. The Sultan has said that. Coming out at that point to say that meant that things were becoming extremely difficult for people.
But Sultan hardly speak.
He hardly speaks. And now you now have Zamfara that is next door, and then we have Katsina that's. And then this happened within that circle. It's obvious that we have the military saying that they are doing a lot. I keep seeing statements from Major General John Neche saying things like they were able to repel, which means, truthfully, their area, for these guys to demand that area surveillance should stop, means that their aerial surveillance has been achieving a lot. They still had to, bomb some areas over the weekend, and they came up with, results. So if you do this much, which means land is our problem.
The thing there, you see, we're talking of the northern region. The advice I want to give on this part, people are actually coming up now, they want to travel because of the season where we are. I think, don't let's just use the COVID as an excuse of doing big celebration. It's high time we stay in there and secure and protect ourselves. There is nothing, in fact, the level of insecurity is higher than COVID. Look at the report you're given in your house, look at our report. Everybody has in fact, it's now scary to carry big cars.
True.
Because at random, you heard about the report of people kidnapped at Lagos about toll gates 2-3 days ago. The Lebanese guys, you understand? So it's at random. They just look for a very flashy and good cars, and they feel that if you are able to pick this, and at times they always meet target. maybe that guy is just a driver, or maybe he's an office assistant being sent on an errand to go and do this. So it's the security apparatus that we are overwhelmed. And what I think we should encourage people to do is to just let's stay indoor. Let's play low. Thank God the economy is not that booming for celebration to have its way. Let's just play low, and they keep encouraging us all the time. Some of our belongings, let's always hide them. Although those guys too now know that you hide. So when they are there to attack you, they will tell you that bring it out yourself or I finish you.
And I think we should pray.
We've always been praying. Don't let's over disturb God. God has done his part. It is us that we don't do. You see, some of the problems we are faced with now are the failures that we have in time past of not having the right economy to grow, for people to work. In areas when you are engaged, you go out in the morning, come back later in the evening, you won't think of criminality.
Let me ask you a quick question before we let you go, Olusesan. Can we invite, do you think it is time for us to bring in foreigners, foreign power to help rescue these boys? Because I remember that Chibok girls, 300 plus, while we were dilly-dallying and all that, it's over almost 2,000 days that those girls are gone. We still have over 100 of them that have not been gotten back. We still have less Sharibu from the Dapchi girls, one girl that has still not been brought back. And now we're talking another 300. Should we cry out for foreign help now? Americans were kidnapped, they came, they picked their guy, they rescued them, they killed some people, and they left. Should we do that now?
I will say no.
Okay.
If the political will on the part of a government is there, will get us to see. My little experience when I was working with some people in area where I stayed before is that we understand the terrain ourselves. If you bring in a foreigner that does not understand the terrain, they will come with their equipment and they will be defeated, they will leave. The fact is, if the president has assured that they provided the necessary equipment to fight this war, now we need a political will. Are those guys well motivated to carry out what is expected of them? If you invite anybody, you're only wasting resources, because they will come. They don't know how many people know the way into this your office. You know better than any other person. So that's why people at the time were advocating for community policing, because the people of the land knows that when you come and you are going this direction, we already know that because you are not part of us, that direction you are going, you meet a stall there and we'll catch you. That's why people feel that community policing will assist a lot, because the people understand it. And that's why they will say, let everybody go back to their domain. Let the Westerner protect this area, because you even need language when you're fighting some of this problem. There is a way you talk to the other guy, or when they are communicating and planning anything, you understand what they're saying. But because of our intertribal stuff, most people, when they are speaking this language, you don't even understand their plan until you have somebody, I mean, they said they want to do this, so that's why I feel we don't need any external support as we speak, but the political will from our leaders and going the route of community policing. The people, you know, the report you read of attacking of the coalition that happened 2 days ago, they said they were able to identify one or two of those hoodlums. If there is an external person in that area, will they be able to identify them? And the fact is, when you identify, what do you do to them? Those are areas. I'm not a security expert, but there are some things that are commonsensical.
Before we even let him go, talking about economy, I'd like him to talk about the market.
Because we have a guest in the studio that must come on now.
Let him just,
we have a guest in 1 minute.
In 1 minute, yes.
1 minute.
I'd like him to respond to the marketers refusing to obey 5 naira reduction in petrol price. We know that there had even been accounts of filling stations right in front of the Nigerian Petroleum Corporation not even adhering to it. And some of them are saying that they can't go with instructions from newspapers and all that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, we know the rationale behind it. When they increase, it's swift to adjust the pump. When they reduce, they need instructions from their boss. So I don't expect anything.
I like that response.
I got delayed. I was like, okay, they will do it
How
on
much
the 14th.
buying for?
It's still 167.
I buy 160.
I buy is 169. Though I refuse to check the pump price most of the time.
No, I buy at 162.
Okay, maybe.
Oh, really? Tomisin?
Which area is that? I bought as I yesterday.
You're marketing for them now.
So as I yesterday, I still bought 165.
They did the good thing. So maybe I should just drive back there today and see if they've caught up with the rest of
and the pump price and the pump the meter is fine.
The meter is fine.
Wow.
Okay,
about like 3,000 naira fell about 4 or 5 days ago.
That's good.
That's
Maybe they are able to comply. But
I feel like my phone is not running down.
anything that goes up in Nigeria is difficult to come down. And we still have our issues with that because the thing surrounding that subsidy and this stuff is deep.
And this 5 naira, that's why I don't want to go there.
Yeah,
because if you start me on that 5 naira, how did we bring it up?
It's deep. So it's a story for another day.
It's just on the back here again on Tuesday. By God's grace. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We need to take a break. Richard Amura, a security expert, joins us next. And we're still talking security. Remember, it's holiday season and it's important for us to be conscious.
Just about it.
We're back here is the bumper breakfast, and the voice you just heard is that of Richard Amura. Richard Amura, of course, is a colleague on the job, and of course it focuses on security, especially when it has to do with underage children. You know, training your child to be more security conscious, talking to parents as to how to keep yourself safe at this time. So I like to call him a security expert when it comes to matters like this. Good morning, Richard. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Thanks
you
for
look
having
sharp.
me.
That yellow is really popping.
Thank you. I know that I'm coming to meet somebody who is top notch too.
Good morning. Good to have you on the
Thank
show
you so much
this
for having
morning.
me, guys. Thank you so much.
Good to have you.
Merry Christmas.
You know, you were just
Merry
saying
Christmas.
something.
Merry Christmas. Something to merry about.
Yes.
You know, you were just saying something just before we came on here, that you want to travel out of town. And despite the fact that you are that conscious and familiar with what to do when it comes to security, you are a bit uncomfortable when it comes to travel. What then should those like us? Do you know, I feel it really scared driving at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. on this Lagos Ibadan Expressway. I'm really scared.
And you talk about 9 p.m. while I said it this morning that what I saw
as at 7 a.m.
at
Oshodi. People were being robbed at gunpoint.
Tomisin, and for all our esteemed viewers, the truth of the matter is that if you listen to me this morning, don't be paranoid. It's just the truth. The NSAS COVID-19 has brought a whole lot. Before NSAS, COVID-19 itself is a major disaster. And I can't say what because we're seeing.
It's still on.
It's been a major disaster. Then NSAS became a monster. Several police officers are still trying to be motivated as we're talking. Just yesterday, the IG have asked the SWAT to be deployed in different location. At least that's a good news for us right now. But people need to take ownership of their security. What do I mean by that? Into their way of the environment right now. I've advised many people not to travel this Christmas, if possible. Not even about the issue of COVID right now, because if you look at COVID too, you should stay back at home. But because of security, for example, a lot of ammunition are out there. A lot of police posts have been broken into. Down. A lot of
so they're no longer as close to the people as they speak.
No, and a lot of communities don't know how. You see, it was unfortunate that we bought into an idea of fighting the police, because it is only insane country and people that fight their police. For you to fight your police, you could have gotten criminal as your friends. So we a lot of us didn't understand what we're doing. The goal was not to fight the police. The goal was to end something that they were doing that was wrong. Unfortunately, the hoodlums took so that's a lesson for us now. Remember last year or 2 years ago, we normally do something on Christmas because we know that the crime rate goes high. Come on TV, talk about Christmas, but this time we're not just talking about Christmas alone. We're talking about the fact that with the situation in Nigeria right now, if you're going to travel, it must be very important stuff. But if you go and travel to see an uncle, a mommy, please make a call. There's a friend of mine who's going to, they having a chieftaincy title around in Anambra State. He called me and said, bro, I can't make it to Anambra State. Number one, how much do you need? He said, so, okay, I can help out with this. He said, oh, thank you. You see, what I'm trying to say is that for those people who are around wherever celebration, they can attend. But to travel far, for example, right now, Edo has been hot, Edo State. So meaning if you are traveling between Ore, Ibadan, Ore, Benin, Ondo, Owo, Kogi, all those areas right now, you must
be very vigilant.
Remember, in the morning or afternoon, the king was killed.
Yeah, my king actually. It's my hometown.
It's
actually the Odogi of Ifon, but they call him the Olufon.
No, I grew up in Owo, and I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so Owo. I can speak your language.
Can you hear Tifo?
Yeah, KTV.
You guys should not lose me on this side.
So, coming back to our, so people need to know. See, guys, one thing I beg of people is to have a security education. Be aware of your environment. For example, you are driving right now. Do you know who is actually following you? When you see, the most vulnerable place is driving. Yeah, it's driving. Do you know why? Because you are alone, or even you are 2 or 3 in the car, there's nowhere to run to.
You're confined.
It's just open. But in the house, you are vulnerable in your house, but you have a wall. Before the wall is broken into, before the door is broken into, you have makes 1 or 2 calls. But unfortunately, if you are on the road, it becomes very dangerous. So that's why I advise people, when you drive at this point, don't drive bumper to bumper. The one called toll-gating. Give a space.
So that you can maneuver.
Then again, look ahead of you. For me, I look at 5-6 cars ahead of me. Listen to me. I take all my troubles away when I'm in the car. Seriously. Yeah. Well, my focus is in the car to know. You see, you are in an environment where it's not safe. You are not in New York where you are looking at a building, you are looking at, that nobody's, but you are in Nigeria where 2/3 of people are hungry. And they're not disciplined to say, I'm not going to get involved in this crime. So as we celebrate this Christmas now, I think people need to start thinking, how do we survive? And you need to know that the next neighbor might not even be surviving, and you might be the target. So how do you know? So those are the situation right now.
You see, when we talk about robbery in traffic, it has become something really alarming in recent times. People used to do it in the past, brandish the weapon, and just look away. But now, they do it to the full glare. They used to do it in the middle of the night, sometime when it's under the dark, any form of dark, early in the morning. They are doing it at broad daylight now.
Yeah, because there's no police on the road. And the little police you see on the road, they are not motivated. We've said it, And police were hungry. They are hungry because of what's done to them. They're not
Tomisin, remember Yinka was saying last week about what happened to him at Abuja, and he had to go and report at the police station, and the policemen were saying that, well...
That's it. You see? That's it. You see, the truth of the matter is that we really hurt these guys. Not every police officer is bad. Listen to me. I'm not... You see, somebody come in one day, he said, Richard, are you a police person? I said, no, the mistake is that you don't say because your baby is bad, you don't throw him away from the house. You try to groom the baby and become part of the family. We have even Jesus Christ, Jesus, as holy as Jesus is, they said he has a Judah.
Apart from the Judas, he had people, those who ran away when the...
You understand?
Those who denied him.
In every organization, we have bad people. Even us as Nigeria, if you want to know Nigeria that are bad, go to traffic lights. That's why you know that Nigeria that the SARS in us, individual, is more than the SARS we are ending. So why don't us end the SARS in us? You see,
unfortunately, it is.
And even when you are allowed the traffic lights,
even though we are worse than the people.
When you even want to obey the traffic light, you hear when somebody coming at you.
No, you see, so
drive off.
It's not right. You see,
can't recognize
we need to. I don't say this because I'm on TV. I leave it out, and I tell people, if you don't have a criminal as a friend, don't fight the police. And I've advocated that. That's what we are doing right now, called community oversight on policing and security. Meaning that a lot of communities don't know that police is their baby. It's true. It's not because of the way we are brought up. Because in other climes, when you put a police in the community, the police is not transferred. You work with the people knows him. If there's anything, they can easily talk to him. But here we have an hostile police system because of the way they are managed. They become hostile to you. A man who has children like you and I, goes to the same market like you and I, and the guy has not seen his family for weeks or months. The guy is on the road. The guy, you keep sending him up and down. Before the guy's wife delivers. There's a time I had a program. I said, guys, have you ever had a protest to say, let's have a better security in this country? You see, police are our brothers.
No, but let me try and chip this in. Initially the NSAS protest was not. I don't think. Well, I'm not an advocate for them, but I really don't think that this was what we saw at the end was what they bargained for. Unfortunately, I feel that the unfortunate thing in all of this was that. They actually did not know when to retreat, because even in war, you know when to retreat. So, that's why I don't think they originally came out
but let me tell you the truth.
Face the police.
But let me tell you the truth. It should not be end SARS. If government had listened on time, the bad eggs in SARS would have been taken off. Because SARS they do exactly marvelous job that you and I do not know.
Exactly.
But they have bad eggs. And like a lot. Government will have seized the opportunity to clear the table, but unfortunately, because of lack of leadership.
We're dilly-dallying.
They're dilly-dallying. Lack of leadership. And anybody don't have leadership, that's what you get. And that's why today is the NSAS. I'm sorry that they ended that department. That department was beautiful. But unfortunately, like I said again, I keep repeating myself. Guys, insecurity in Nigeria today is not just what government alone can do. It's going to be all of us must be involved. And how we're going to be involved is when, thank God, Lagos State are giving us 767 and 112. Don't dial it as you hear me right now. You dial it when you have an emergency. When you see somebody who is strange in your community, what do? You make a call place. But unfortunately too, we live in a community where you say a will come in there. Yoruba will say that. People will say Ogene Basaram. What's my own?
No, but at times the responses of the 112 and the 767, it's somehow discouraged. I had an encounter wherein I was robbed. I was telling you what happened some Christmas ago, and we were robbed, and then we called 112, and all through the while were all the people. Nothing
happened.
Although in some cases you find out, because I'd been there was a time I was in a commercial vehicle, and a guy was having an asthmatic attack, and we called 112. Yes, we just called 112, and really it worked, and
for the hospital needs it work.
It really worked, and I was like,
But when it has to do with police.
No, okay, maybe that's one off thing, because I've been part and parcel, even though not official, of that 76712, and RRS has been really doing a great job about that. But again, I think they need to up the game, because I know that Disu has been the head of RRS, was just moved to Abuja. But the truth of the matter again is that in every agency, all they need to do is to improve and work on it. That again, every committee must have a DPO number, not just the 767. That's another mistake we do. For example, how many of us are actually close to our DPO? How many of us, you are having a party or you are having an event, and you invite the police to come and be part of it, not to guide you or to protect you, but to be involved. The guy in Onitsha that they refused to burn his station, do you know why they left him? Because they said the guy get involved in things in the community. He find out that there's no borehole. He knows the big boys in it. He get them to a police. You see, that's what we're talking about. You see, the issue until federal government and Nigeria begin to see that we have a federal system of government and we need to have a state police and community police, insecurity will continue to thrive. I don't care what people say. I don't care how they say it. We should have, every state should have their own police right now. Every state. If you think you can afford it, you must, because what we have right now has gone beyond bringing somebody from Gombe to come and work in Agege, or bringing somebody from Anambra State.
How do we correct that? That's an anomaly.
It's an anomaly.
The man has not seen his family, because I just thought about it. You don't treat them well. They don't see their families in months. Why do you even transfer them in the first place? Where did they come from?
There's not enough. If there's any police reform we must do, is to say, you see, I don't know Nigeria.
Let the man return to his hometown with his family to work. Whatever his family is.
I don't know why we're going through this pain. I don't know. What does it? Okay, you say Amotekun should be formed. They form it. They say having issue. They say now, and then you guys saw one video that is going viral about what's it called, network of security in the east, being formed by somebody. I don't want to mention his name. That's an army being prepared. Yes, if you don't have the video, I'm saying to you. You see, what we're saying here is that if government is overwhelmed in central, let the state rise up to do something. So let us practice the real federalism. The real federalism is that states have what they have and give to central what they think they need to go to central. Just like it's done in the US, just like it's done in the Europe. But unfortunately, we are turning it around. It's not right. Let's have a man who can speak his language to protect his people.
As a matter of fact, when you're recruited in the police, you should ask, what state are you from? And take them.
I take them to the state. So we
as a matter of fact, any policeman who cannot speak his language, I grew up in Lagos, okay, so you can work in the West. I grew up in Imo State, but you can work in the West.
Permit me to say this. Whenever you are listening to me from right now, please make police your friend. If you think they are not good, you can complain. There's something, maybe if you permit me, we're coming up with an app right now. This is an individual app. I'm heading it. What am I trying to do? In 20 local government of Lagos and the 50 LCDA, am I right?
35
LCDA. What we're trying to do right now, we're creating this app because everybody uses phone. And this way is security. We're going to make this app free of charge. Anything you see, the end user is going to be the police, government, and us. Meaning that instead of waiting to degenerate to NSAS, the moment you see a police doing right, something good, you take the picture or and send the message to us to the app. You see the one doing wrongly, the same thing. So it's not the only government, because sometimes when government sees it, they take away their eyes. But when all of us are seeing that this thing is open and we'll be selling this thing, people will say, okay, okay, she said now, work on this for us. That are the things I'm calling on individual people to get involved. Police is civil. Police is for all of us. But unfortunately here in this part of the world, we are thinking that police for government because of the way they attack you and I.
The 37 city is, pardon me, not 35.
Okay.
But you see, police is for all of us. Unfortunately, the psyche of the average policeman, who obviously